Is recording. Start with you, Nate.
Nathan Evans.
Barbara Jones.
Ken Ransom.
Mattathias Westwood.
Tanya Harmon.
And Joey is on the phone. And then Kenna Matthews. Stephen is being excused tonight, so he will not be joining us. We're going to have a pretty quick agenda tonight. We just wanted to update you kind of on the process. We kind of have some updates on the process. Tell you about a couple of dates, and then we'll go to that point. So we've approval of minutes. So these are the minutes from our last meeting. So if I can entertain a motion, I've sent these out to everyone a long time ago. So if we can, okay, Barbara, Nate, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay, so kind of have a little bit of an update on the back. This is something, so we met again, we've met several times with the other entitlements, and this is kind of a timeline that Utah County put together for us. And so I will send this to you, Joey, when I get back to my office. Okay. Guess she's still there.
That was from you.
Right. So these are, we can just go through this and kind of see where we're at. And then if we have any concerns or problems, we'll do that. So we created one application this year. So instead of all of us having the same application in Zoom grants, so we'll have one application. So they'll go to one link instead of trying to have to apply, like we said last time, they applied to all three entitlements, even though it might have been for the same thing. And so they're going to have one link. We paid a little bit of money to open that account with Zoom grants to be able to do that. And then we sent out our NOFA, so that's our Notice of Funds Available. That was sent out about a month ago. We sent that out to people that have applied for all three entitlements, people that have asked to be on the list. We also have to post it in the newspaper. So we're hoping to get, all of those people known. So Utah County actually compiled the list. And so we sent all of the people we have funded in the past, and other people I think will be interested. And then and then we all looked at the list. And I keep reminding our applicants that they need to go to these workshops. So, and I'll remind them again next week, and some of the other people we might have funded in the past. Any questions with all of that? Okay, so next week, and you guys do not have to attend unless you want to, we'll have our informational workshops. Some of you did come last year to those. So we'll have our first one will be in Provo on Tuesday. That will be at the Provo City Council conference room, which is upstairs in the main building.
Is that where it was last year?
Yes, and that one's at 10 o'clock. And then the other one will be here at 2 o'clock the next day. So it'll be in this room on the 23rd the next day. So if you want to come, you can. I mean, it's always kind of nice to see who's interested and who's applying, kind of what the process is going to look like, further what we're going to talk about today. But you don't have to, but it is an option. And I'll send out a reminder on Monday just to, let you know, just to remind you if you guys want to come to that or not. So once that happens, then we're not going to we don't need to have our own workshop, because even the Orem only people will be actually going to that workshop as well. The only time we would need to have an Orem only one is like, say there's a capital project or something, but we kind of do our own thing here. So we don't need to have our public works people go to a workshop, because I actually write all the grants. So, that doesn't need to happen. But like with Utah County, they have other cities applying, like Spanish Fork might apply first. Sorry. Oh, that's Joey. Okay. Sorry. She must have dropped the call.
So can we scratch the October 23rd one then?
No, we're going to have just two so people can.
Okay.
All
But that's for everyone, not just one.
then in the remainder of October, other jurisdictions
Yes.
might have.
We lost you. Are you there? Hello? Hello? Joey? Joey? I wonder if she's still on mute. I'll just leave it there and see what happens. So yeah, so we're just having 2 workshops, so if people can't come on one day, they can come on another day. That kind of splits it up a little bit as well. So we're not gonna do an Orem only one, like I said, with the county Spanish Fork, Utah County will have a Utah County only one, because they fund cities and other projects and those kind of things. So that's a little bit different, and like last year, we had 2 workshops, same. Are you there, Joey?
I'm there.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can. All right.
Okay.
And then last year we had our Orem only one because we were gonna fund, like Kids on the Move, PERK, they were only gonna apply to Orem, but all of them will now apply to this one application. And then we'll send out the pre-application link on October 24th, once they've had that only to the people that have come to the workshop. So you have to come to the workshop in order to apply. So one of those workshops. Jessica is the person from MAG or Utah County. And then pre-applications will be due December 6th. And then I'm not sure if we'll meet at that point, the collaborative group or not will meet at that point. I'm not sure what that plan is there, but if we do, we'll let Ken and Joey know. So Ken and Joey will be a part of that collaboration group. You kind of saw that in the minutes. They'll be taking part of that piece. We will do site visits again. We have taken on we have been given the responsibility to oversee site visits, our commission and me. So they'll also do site visits, but we'll divide them up again. So we'd love to have you guys come again, because what I like to do is my monitoring visits at the same time we do site visits. Just seems to work pretty good. Sometimes we just do a site visit, sometimes we do both, just depending on the situation. So
shoot for January?
yeah, we'll shoot for January again. Last time we had 18 to do. We only have 9 to do, or at least 9 of our own monitoring visits to do, yes.
Okay, what's a monitoring visit?
So the difference between a site visit is basically what we would do with a site visit is we'll see who's applying for this coming year. They will go out, we'll explain the process to them, we'll make sure that they're in good financial order, that that they are able to apply, kind of see what their projects are, give them maybe some suggestions on how to better that project, or maybe not do that project, that kind of thing. A monitoring visit, we're required to monitor our subrecipients. So there's a big long list that we follow, and we just make sure that they have the right paperwork, they have they're financially secure, that they're following the HUD rules, they're following CDBG rules. It's a 2 or 3 page monitoring visit that we just go through.
Which is after they're funded.
Right, after they're funded. So the site visit's pre-funding, monitoring is after they're funded.
And did you say that we're gonna do both at the same time?
Sometimes, yeah, so like we have Kids on the Move or whatever, and so we know we have to do a monitoring visit to them, so we'll just do the site visit when we're there.
Okay.
Same, so Provo probably will do Project Read, they'll do a site visit with their monitoring visit. I'll just divide them up again like we did last year. But we just don't have as many to go to. We had 18 plus last year, and this year we only have 9 subrecipients, so we won't have as much fun. The what?
Do you know which 9 yet?
Well, it's the 9 that we have funded.
Okay, that we funded last year.
Right. So,
Do we have an idea of, like, I know that we fund like the neighborhood preservation unit.
Uh-huh.
Do we have an idea of what the city?
I think we'll probably be, I don't know what our public works project will be yet. They haven't decided. It potentially could be Hillcrest Park. So I don't know what that is, but everything else will probably be the same. Code enforcement, neighborhood revitalization. Hopefully we can get a little more money for neighborhood revitalization this year and do some of those additional projects we wanted to, the tool library or that kind of thing. But so for citywide, we'll have to do the Section 8, which is our we have an economic loan they took out back in the 2005, 2006 that we're still paying on. We refinanced it, so it's lower, but we still have to use CDBG money for that. It'd be nice when that goes away, because it's about $100,000 a year.
But we paid something off.
Yeah.
This past year that we won't have.
We paid it off. We didn't pay it off, we refinanced.
Okay.
So it's lower than it was, but we're still paying on it. I think we have to pay 4 or 5 more years And then that funding will be available to us for other things, which will be nice. We have administration, so I can work here, And then, this year we funded code enforcement. We usually fund code enforcement. And then we usually do one public works project. So this year we're doing Westmore Park, and we're doing the fence at Westmore Park. Last year, we're now doing it now, but last year we had funded the playground and the parking lot improvement at Geneva Park. You guys, the playground's in, you should go over. It's pretty nice, and so are the futsal courts, so that's kind of cool at Geneva Park. And that's what we fund. And then last year we funded a little bit for neighborhood revitalization. We had to cut that down because of some of the other, we didn't get as much money as we'd expected to get. We were about 20,000 shorter than we had expected. So we had to cut some things, and that's where it got cut. But hopefully we can look at some things. If you ever have suggestions for projects, let me know, anything like that. So that will be what we probably come to. But I don't know what the public works project's going to be yet. They keep going back and forth on what that might be on that one. So then in February, all applications will be due February 21st. And then this is where it gets a little tricky. So what's going to happen, and I don't think she explained it very well in this. I'm going to explain it. It's a little confusing here. So what will happen is that either staff or the collaborative group will review all the applications, or at least just look at them. If they're only Orem only projects, so like Kids on the Move, PERK and that, those will be given to us, and they will not do any interviews or presentations. So we will end up looking at those presentations. So any Orem only things will come back to our commission. All the other collaborative ones, the collaborative commission will hear them and make those decisions. So basically, for you that weren't here last time, we will be giving 10% of our 15% to that pool of money for the collaborative projects. And then for the other 5% will be for Orem only projects. Does that make sense?
No.
No, okay. Well, so basically, instead of, how last year some of us kind of decided that, okay, Project Read can go to Provo, Orem, Kids on Community Health Connect comes to Orem, Center for Women and Children.
There was 15%, I'm not.
Yeah, so we're required,
10% is the public service.
Yeah, the public service
The capital
arm
project.
of what we're able to do. So we received $700,000, $686,000. 15% of that can be used for public services. So what we have said is we will give you 10%, and now we will fund collaboratively public services. So if they're Orem only projects, they come back to us. But say community actions. Community action gets food bank money from all three entitlements. Lehigh may come on, and not this year though, so there'd be 4 entitlements. So what we would do is the collaborative committee, which Ken and Joey will sit on, they will decide how much money they get, and then we pay a percentage of that depending on how many people they're serving in Orem. Does that make sense? So say they're serving 100, say with this project, they'll serve 100 people, but only 20% is from Orem. So of that total amount, we would only pay 20%.
Of that 15.
Of that.
10?
Well, it comes from the 10%, but whatever. So say Joey and Ken and the other collaborative say, okay, we're gonna fund Community Health Connect at $10,000, right? But they only serve 20% in Orem. So we would give $2,000 of our funding from that 10% funding to that project.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I know it's confusing. I can't wait to see how this all plays out.
Yeah.
But we're gonna try, because for you that weren't here last time, Utah County, I thought we had felt really good about what we had done. There was some concern, especially with the Utah County CDBG commission. There was concern that the staff had made some decisions, even though we were more involved than other commissions were, and so we kind of were in on those decisions, but felt like they wanted to have more of a say in when we're dividing them up. So that's why we decided to do it this way. in addition to that, we will be funding 1 or 2 capital projects like we have this year. So this year we funded House of Hope and Family Support and Treatment Center for capital projects. And so we have said that we will give a certain amount of money, I think it's $105,000 of our funding for a capital project. And it'll be very similar to the public service project in the fact that we say we'll give them 200,000, they only serve 20%, is that 440,000 or whatever we would give to those projects. And they'll make those decisions as well. So, but anything that's Orem only comes back to our commission for, and any Orem projects from Orem City, we will make presentations and you'll take that 5,000 and that other money that we have, or that 5% and that other money we have, and allocate that out as a commission.
Okay.
It sounds like it may be complicated to line up the apportionments if they're basing the amount with that joint commission on percent of patrons served, but then it's that we're required to put 10% out of our total in to that pot. Those are two kind
Yeah.
of separate
I don't know how those are gonna
numerical
come
things that
together
will
and.
have a hard time.
And I think if they don't, then it will come back to us to allocate. So if we don't use that whole 10%, it would come back to us to allocate to Orem only projects.
And this capital project, is that here in Orem, or are we saying that we're gonna give 105,000 to the collaborative?
But they would have to serve Orem clients, so we couldn't, so like House of Hope isn't located in Orem, House of Hope is located in Provo, but a certain percentage of clients that use House of Hope are Orem clients. So that's the percentage we're looking at.
Okay, so we're saying that we're gonna give we're going to commit 105,000 to a capital project. The amount that could go to the House of Hope is only based on that.
Right, only based on that.
The number of clients.
Right, so say we don't have enough which we do, but we will, but if we don't, then that money would still come back to us to allocate.
So as far as the clients served, is that kind of something that they say this percentage is kind of reserved for Orem going forward? Or is it based on what they've done in the past, or how does that work?
So when they fill out their application, it's kind of based on the past. I mean, it's based on their, when they make it their application, they say, based on our numbers, we have served this many Orem clients. So like, I've just been doing a bunch of reimbursements because the quarter's over. We finally got our funding. HUD's takes forever to actually give us our funding or let us start drawing on funding. So I'm getting a bunch of reimbursements. Well, like, Food and Care just sent me a stack of people, this many, that they're drawing down on, but they're all Orem residents. And they have to show, so we have, depending on what kind of public service they are, they have to show certain things, but they all have to show zip code data. They have to prove zip code data to me in order for me to reimburse them. So, okay, did we get that all straight?
So, look, they have the council, do they know this is going on, or?
As far as I
We're gonna have to
know,
present this to the council eventually, right? And so
Right.
I mean, we're thinking they're gonna be okay with this plan?
that Stephen said so,
All right.
yeah. Because I said, do we need to go back to work session and explain this? And he feels like they'll be okay because they were willing to do the collaborative thing last year. So they feel like that this will be a good thing. So, but good question. And I will bring that back up to Stephen again as a concern from the
All this work and
commission.
the council says, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ultimately,
yeah,
it's
it's
a
hard
protocol
when
decision.
it feels like we have made a commitment
Yeah.
to other bodies.
Right.
The council,
Says no.
yeah.
Joey, do you have any concerns?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
So just wonder, so how does the actual funding work? Do they send our money? I'm just curious. They being CDBG.
So the way that it works is you have your allocation. They have a program that's called IDIS. It's a nightmare program, just telling you. So what happens is our accountant every month, he accounts for whatever's going, so because it's a reimbursable program. So what will happen is, all administrative expenses will show on that. Our critical, that's one of the other things, we do our critical home repair program, which we're gonna talk about in just a minute. So all of those expenses show, and then once, at the beginning of the year, what I do is put in all the allocations into the computer. They're all assigned a number. So like 710 or whatever, 708 is administration this year. So what will happen is, he will send me that, and it's all coded. I code it, I figure it out, because we have to show program income as well. I figure that all out, and then what I'll do is I go in and I put in a voucher. And you have to put in activities, and it has to show if you have enough money in that activity. So like, food and care, if we give them $10,000 or whatever, the beginning of the season, I put in $10,000, and then we draw down from that. So it's kind of a drawn program. So then I fill out this voucher, Stephen approves the voucher, and then HUD sends a check.
If we ever had a situation where they don't draw down the full amount allotted,
Then it really ends up just going to the next year. So it just rolls over. So we have about, right now, even with the park project that we didn't finish, the whole 9 yards, we have about an additional, give or take, about $110,000 right now, because we've gotten it either through program income, we sold those tools for Habitat, the truck from Habitat, loans have paid off, rehab loans have paid off, things like that. And so that's kind of built up over time. So there's additional money there. We're going to talk about that because we're running out of funds for critical home repair. We're going to see if you guys want to allocate a little bit of that money towards that program.
sorry,
Yeah.
so maybe I wasn't clear.
Uh-huh.
So if the money allotted to, food and care or something, if they don't draw down the full amount,
Right.
does it roll over to them the next year? or does
No,
go back in the
it goes
pot?
back into our pot,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Goes back into our pot of funds, because you close them out, basically. You close them out, now they're closed out, and now that money's free to use for other things.
Gotcha.
We rarely have that happen.
Oh,
Occasionally, like code enforcement didn't use all their money last year, because we didn't have we didn't have 3 full-time officers last year, the whole time. So that money just rolled over to us for this year. So, that makes sense? All right, so then, March, we'll start doing interviews. The Joint Commission will do interviews, we'll do interviews. And then we'll, just like we did last year, then we'll make recommendations to the city council. And then we'll notify the applicants. And then we'll probably do, I think, did some of you come to our grantee? You did, to the grantee workshop we had. We'll probably just do it, we might do it together this year. We haven't decided, we haven't gotten that far yet. So that's gonna be the process this year. Does everyone agree with that? Okay with that? I will talk to Stephen about the council concern. And we'll see how it works. I have,
More
have-
complicated than
right.
necessary, but.
but I think it's kind of the whole idea of doing this, and we kind of talked about this last time, is less paperwork, less reporting on both sides. It's really less administrative nightmare, really, on both sides. And people are getting more money to do what they need to do. We're not getting 2 here and 3 here and 5 here. They're getting 15 and are able to move forward. Same with capital projects. By doing it this way, they're not just piecemealing a project together. They actually have the funds they need to do the big project. So we feel like if we can get, this year's going to be a challenge, figuring it all out. I'm concerned. I have, how it's all going to look. But I think it will work as long as we're all on the same page and doing what we need to do. So that's kind of what the process is. So Ken and Joey will be a little busier than the rest of you for now. And then next year, someone else will get the opportunity to move through that. So that's kind of where we are. So applicants, we kind of went through the timeline. We've already we've already decided that Joey and Ken will serve on the Joint Commission. Just for your information, because we received less funding, we only got 2 members instead of 3. So because Provo and MAG receive 3, 5, 600,000 more than we do, then we agreed that we would have less representation. So that just to keep that in mind. All right, so I told Mattathias my dilemma this week, so I'll tell you. So I haven't been really busy doing lots of things. I don't even know, lots of things it seems. So I haven't really had a lot of time to work on our policies and stuff. I tried to, at the beginning of the year with CDBG, it's you have to get everything going and so I haven't had as much time. So I had a whole bunch of time this week. Monday morning I come to work and my computer won't work. And it's been, 3 to 4 days of trying to make different computer situations and things. So I apologize, they're not done. I'm working on them. Some things came up with critical home repair the last couple of days as well with our consultant that may change some of the things that we're doing in there. So I'll keep working on them. I will send them to you via email. Hopefully, the holidays are usually slower around here, so hopefully we'll get them to you. So I apologize to that. I did go to some training, I did go to a couple of trainings since we had our meeting in July, and found out we have a whole bunch of other things that we need to add to our policies. Things we kind of do, but they're not in the policy. So that was another thing, it would have been easy just to do a few things and be done, but then we went to 2 different HUD trainings, and I was like, oh dear, let's not get audited for at least a year or 2, please. Yeah, and HUD changes their mind every other minute. Our HUD person that we talked to, he moved to a different position and moved into a different state, and so we don't really have a HUD rep right now. We have an intern, and
Oh, gee,
Terrific.
so that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because I keep thinking, oh, well, they don't know any better. But then I think, how interns are, they're really,
Yeah. Depends on your intern, huh?
so we'll have to see what happens there. On the critical home repair funding, like I was talking about, so we allocated 70,000. So for the last several years, that program has not been very popular. When I was at Habitat, it wasn't popular at all. We were having a lot more applicants from Utah County than we were in the Provo-Orem area. So I decided, that I would start marketing the program a little bit. So we put it in the senior newsletter. We've been marketing it at neighborhood meetings. We put it in the newsletter for the city. Good thing, but big mistake, all in the same thing. We've had a run on home repair loans, like crazy amounts of home repair loans. It seems to have slowed down a little the last couple of weeks. So we don't have enough money to fund all the projects that we have in the pipeline. We met as a loan, we have a loan committee that looks at the loan applications. So that it has Stephen and I on it, has someone from our economic development department on it, someone from our planning department, and one of our financial people on it. So we have a good mix of people. So our consultant came, he gave us a bunch of the loans that he's been working on. We denied some of them based on need, based on income, even because their income was higher. They had the ability to get money where, others didn't.
Your goals.
So we kind of,
Don't have.
right. So we kind of, brought it back into reasonable, but we're still getting applications. And so Stephen wanted me to ask the commission if you would be willing to allocate another 40,000 from that pool of money to be used for that program. We may come back for more, but we think 40 right now is a good starting point.
So so you said that we have money coming back.
Right.
How much money is coming back?
So 110?
Yeah, so right now we are showing about $188,000. However, the way that you do it in IDIS, you do it based on each project. So 70,000 of that's already taken, even though it's showing more. So we're probably at about 120,000 that's still there that we could use for other things. So that's what we were hoping that if we could allocate another 40,000, that would give us another at least 3 or 4 loans, if not more.
Do they need an answer right now?
No,
Okay.
no.
I mean, my thought is 40,000 with, I mean, we can fund a lot of projects off of that. I'd like to at least see what comes in before we allot that over to them.
Okay,
I
And
don't know, but, you know.
for the critical home repair, does that come out of our capital spending or does that come out of our public services?
it comes out of our capital spending. So we allocated as part of our capital money, $70,000 to the program. We've done 2 projects, no. I think we've done 3 projects now, but we probably have 15 waiting. And the problem is we fund up to $15,000, so it's a little bit of a challenge, you know. We're hoping that some, there's those lower end, those $5,000-$6,000, plus we have to pay the consultant. So we pay a consultant fee of $2,200 per loan.
Are there parameters on what they can apply for?
Yes,
for?
yes, uh-huh.
So if I'm reading my RV guide, it's not for that. It's
Probably not.
I have to read my roof or something.
Right. We try to look at critical needs first. So when we went through this list of applicants, we looked at, you know, do they qualify financially first? And then we kind of looked at their needs. And, you know, of course, we're gonna look at seniors probably first, because that's where a higher need is. More lower income families first, than people that are just right on the tip of the tip, you know, that kind of thing. So we can definitely come back to you, you know, when we get to that point, if that's what you'd like us to do.
Now, these are seniors that need roofs, and we're heading into the,
Yeah, we had to move forward with the most critical immediately, you know, like, there's a house not too far from here that's got buckets.
Even if we allot that money now, they don't have access to it until,
No, I mean, it's, the loan committee makes that
Yeah.
determination.
so
Okay.
with your concern about heading into winter, I mean, they wouldn't have the money in time anyway.
So, what are your thoughts?
No, I support allocating 40,000, I mean, I support
I
that.
support it.
It's just, I mean, it's all reimbursable. I mean, it's just bill paying money. You know what I mean? It's not like we're giving them the money. We control the whole, we pay all the bills for the contractors.
Gotcha.
Right.
And these are loans.
So there are loans and grants. So maybe I'll just go over the program really quickly. I don't, yeah, so we have, so it's a grant or loan program, and it's based on income and, sell or value of the property. So if the value of the property is less than $330,600, which is the home limit, so we decided to go with the home limit. If the value is under that, if they make 25% or less of the area median income based on family size, they can get up to a $7,500 grant and another $7,500 loan. Now, so it's up to $15,000, whatever. The loan can either be 0% interest for 10 years, or it can be 0% deferred, which
We had
means,
a hard time marketing this program.
yeah, I know. I don't know what happened for a few years. So what we can't do is we can defer the loan. So what happens is just, it's either a first or second on the property, sometimes a third. We usually don't do thirds, unless it's a real critical need. And then at a change of ownership, then it's called due out of the equity of the property. So we've had several this past year refinance their homes and have had to pay that loan back to us. So that's why we have kind of a cushion, because we've had several of those loans pay back. Some people are making payments, like we took back 3 of Habitat's loans when we took them back. And so we have 2 of them are making payments and 1 refinanced and paid off her loan. So from 25, so it's the very lowest of low income. The second group would be 25 to 50% of the area median income based on family size. They can get a $5,000 grant and a $10,000 loan. Anyone from 50 to 80% of the area median income, it's just a loan. And if the house is valued over $330,600, it's always a loan. Because we don't want to give more value to a home. This is really critical needs. Like I have had a lady that's been trying to get money from me, and she finally admitted to me that she was planning on selling her home. And I said, well, we're not gonna be able to help you.
Yeah.
you know, because we're not here to make your value of your home better. We're here to make your living, we want you to stay in your home. We want you to live in a good way. So that's how the program works. So then we work with a consultant. It's called Kenyon Consulting. We've been working with them for several years. They make application through me. I make sure everything's in their application. We send it to the consultant. The consultant income verifies everything, pulls their credit. We have kind of a thing that he puts everything in, you know, and that we look at. Then he does a home visit. So he looks at the home, makes sure the home qualifies. The other thing that he's looking at is, are they taking care of their home? You know, because we don't want to go in and help a home that they're not gonna, you know what I mean? We don't want to go fix something that they're going to trash tomorrow. You know, so we don't base everything on that, but, you know, there are some homes out there, like this home that was just brought to us, it's in terrible shape. And they do not take care of it, but their roof is leaking and it's bad. So we felt like, had they come into us to do a bathroom remodel or something, we would have said no. But because the roof is leaking, we felt like we should at least do the roof on this particular house. But we kind of look at that, and then he'll get bids. He's supposed to get 3 bids, but that's almost impossible in this climate, in this market right now. So he does the best he can. And then the consultant. So he does everything. All I do is market it, talk to people, explain the program, look at their application. Then he brings it to once he has the bids, this is where we're switching some things up. We may have him just come before bid, so that we can get people sooner if we're gonna go on or not go on with them. So we're having a discussion when he gets back from hunting in that week. So, and then he does, if it's a loan, he does all the closing on the loan. You know, if he does all that, it's his company. They monitor, they do all the, you know, they hire the contractors, make sure the contractors are bonded and insured and, you know, are licensed and all that. Does lead-based paint testing. By law, we have to lead-based paint if the home is is older than 1978. Is that right? Yeah, that would be right. Or, you know, he checks for other things if needed, if there's asbestos, if there's those kind of things.
So what's the total amount that we have for capital projects?
So capital projects,
You said it was like 680,000 total?
well, 686 is what we had this year. Then we took 15% off, and then everything else was for capital,
Not public?
not public.
Okay.
So that included administration, that included everything that went to Orem City. We didn't fund a non-Orem City capital project this year. We did last year. We had the turn ramp, which is finally done this year instead of this past year. So,
Okay.
so that's how the program works.
Gotcha. I guess, with last year, I know we turned down, I don't know, 10 or 11. What my concern is, if we allocate this 40 to them right now, are we gonna get to a position where we have to say, hey, we've got some projects we'd love to fund, but we can't because we put it into this loan program?
No, because we'll get a new allocation. This money's just leftover money. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah.
I misunderstood that.
Oh, yeah, so it's money, it's mostly program income or money that has not been used for whatever reason. And we can only hold on to that money for a certain period of time. They have what do they call it? Some kind of test that we're supposed to do. And you can only hold, or they'll make you pay it back. So it's good to pay it forward if we can.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm wholeheartedly behind this.
Okay. So 40,
Yeah,
so,
I am too.
okay, is there a motion?
Motion?
You can't motion,
Uh,
because you're the
I'll
chair.
make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Oh, you're good. It happens.
Why couldn't he motion?
Because he's the chair, and so if there's a tie, he breaks the tie. Yeah.
Now I know, thank you.
Just letting all that power go to them.
Okay, so everyone okay with that? Joey, you're okay with that? Joey, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that sounds great.
okay, thanks.
So
All right, so site visits and monitoring, so be looking for an email. I'll start putting those together in January. Can't believe we're doing this again already. Isn't it crazy? It's
So you're
nuts.
gonna try to group them into specific days?
Yeah,
Okay.
like I did before. It's just easier, take 3 or 4 days and just do it all day long. It's exhausting.
So is
I was
that what
tired.
you said you were asking for someone to take on?
Lead signing site
Anyone want
visits.
to lead sign?
Oh, no, that's
That
what
was
the
something.
entitlements asked someone to do, and I took it on.
Okay.
I said because I would much rather do that than environmentals or reimbursements. I'm like, I'll do site visits, I can do that. And then update on commission terms and size. So we had a discussion about that. The city has decided to kind of standardize their commissions. So this will not apply to you, but it will apply to anyone new. So our commission year is 2 years, and you can re-up for another 2 years. For this, we are now going to move, for any new commission members from now on will be 3 years. And you can re-up for 2 years. However, if the commission feels like they still want you, the commission can decide you and you can go beyond those 2 years, that 6 years or whatever it's going to be. So Ken could be internally on our committee.
Okay, so it does, we are or not? We are
So
not
they're no
grandfathered on
longer.
that.
The what?
Like, I am, or like, so me, for example, I'm already on the commission.
Right.
Am I grandfathered in,
You're-
so I can be kept if the committee wants me, or I can't be because?
I
I'm
think,
already on the
we
commission?
can make that decision. You just won't serve 3 years, you just serve 2 for now. And then if you re-up, then you would serve 3. That makes sense.
Okay. So this is my second year. If I
Right.
want to stay, I can stay for 2, or would I stay for 3?
Probably 3,
Okay.
if that's what you want to do. I think that's how it's going to work.
And so-
I could be completely wrong, but I think so.
Okay.
So if the commission wants someone to stay, then they can stay pretty much as long as the
Right.
commission wants them to stay.
Uh-huh, yeah. We just want the ability to turn people off if we need to, or someone feels like they want to turn them off and not,
Well, it's nice though, because you just barely get to where you're feeling like you understand.
Right,
And
right.
2 years you're done.
That's kind of when we went, I think that's why we standardized to 3. We were one of the onlys that were at 2. And I don't know what the reasoning behind that was. I mean, we're one of the busier commissions, at least in some time frame. Some meet every month, but it's just, but we're, some of us are busier than others, and our commission's one of those, I think, and that's probably why. So we do need a commission member. We did have someone apply, she was really good, and I was very excited, and then she works for Rocky Mountain University, and we have funded Rocky Mountain University. Even though she's public service, and she would probably fall under the collaborative, and even if we had said, well, you can't ever be a collaborative commission member, our attorney said that was just too gray of an area to, if someone came back. So she felt bad, told her to apply to another commission or another board or committee. So we do need one more. So if you have any friends or family, or, friends or whoever, friends probably, family maybe not, but friends that you'd like, encourage them. We have fun. I feed you, we're good, right? Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so, and you guys are fun to be with. I don't want any of you to turn off. This is a good one. And so I think that is all I have. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so we will meet again I'm thinking probably after applications are in. So probably after February. That makes sense. I'll be in touch with some of you with the
So the
commission.
joint, you and Stephen are on that joint commission too, right?
We're not voting members. We would probably come, at least I would, but we wouldn't be voting members, but I would definitely probably be there. Yeah, to see what's going on and stuff. So,
And that's that first, the 22nd, is that?
yeah, the commission, it's for the joint commission, for the joint projects. Yeah, they'll we may have an informational meeting of some sort in February, but for, just to get back in and figure out what we're doing. But I'll send out an email to everyone about site visits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and, a calendar for site visits and things.
October 22nd is the.
Maybe do it.
So those will be in March then, probably?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, last year I think we had one at the end of February, didn't we have one applicant meeting at the end of February, like we did interview or presentations, like the 28th of February, I remember, because I remember we met like on the 28th and then March 28th and then, so, but, yeah, so if I can just get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, thanks Joey, have fun in San Francisco.
Thank you.
Okay, see ya,
Bye.
bye.
Okay, so this commission,
Hey, I made it in an hour.
Oh, yes, we did.
That's not bad.
Actually, even less because.
Yeah.
we started
No,
just
I'm
after
just
yourself.
Chair.
Thanks for dinner.
Oh, you're welcome, thank you.
this
Are you coming to Riot?
commission.
Aren't you on the advisory?
Yeah, I'm on
Yeah.
Romney, yeah, I'll be there, November
Oh, yeah, sorry.
something.
We call it Riot.
Yeah, I was like, what, yeah, you got me. I know, she said that, I remember that's what they say,
Yeah.
It's not on, it's not on that.
Anybody want an extra
In the
sandwich?
future,
Take
it's
home?
I'll take a bottle of water.
If they continue this
I
process.
can take the leftover sandwich.
Okay,
Besides Joe.
it's
I'm sure they're gonna.
Cafe Club,
Oh.
they changed all their names,
Yes.
I'm sure.
their names are even different on
I
their
volunteered
website.
and
Oh,
Joe
really?
volunteered, so
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Those are fun.
so if you guys wanna come next week, it'd be good,
I will be here on
Stop
the 23rd.